All right, you guys. So my name is Raquel Williams Jones. As you guys may have seen, how running a nonprofit made me broke, like literally broke, no money, all accounts negative. In fact, so much so that this nonprofit that I have labored of love for 21 years is now in on the brinks of being dissolved. So, what you might not know is when you dissolve an organization, basically in the nonprofit world as a 501c3, all of the assets that you guys have to go into either another nonprofit, but it can't go to you personally. Well, guess what? We have no assets. You might if you haven't checked out the other video, you might be thinking, well, how you got a nonprofit and you broke and you ran out of money. I'm going to tell you that story. In fact, I'm going to share that story with you so that you'll know all that glitters is not gold. And if you're thinking that there is, you know, tons of people out there dying to give you money for your nonprofit, that has not been my experience. As an African American running a nonprofit, trying to move moms off the welfare system, we were in the creases, in the crevices of real work where like social justice meets equality, meets, all kind of wealth, economic justice, the whole nine yards. And so I was always told that, the battlefields where there are a lot of people, those are the fields that usually have won. So you see a lot of financial literacy out there. But let's not act like we want to play this game, because we're not going to do that today. Let's not play the game that says, we're not prosperous, or we didn't, fulfill our mission because we did something wrong. Because if anybody knows me and my team and everybody that has ever been in this nonprofit, we did every single thing and 100 times over and over, but the systems are absolutely racist. Okay. And we understand that the system is absolutely created to keep people poor. We know this, but many of us are not in a place where we can really do anything about it. And we have been in the work of doing about it, releasing moms off the dependency of this government system, helping them acquire homes, helping them access and acquire funding for their businesses. I mean, the whole nine yards, helping keep government accountable to the millions of dollars that's supposed to be in your pocket as a low income entrepreneur and or just a low income resident. So we have been in the crux of real work. And unfortunately, I'm going to be honest with you, the reason why you see all of this disastrous stuff going on is because nonprofits like Can I Live have not been supported. Okay. In fact, there's so many major big time nonprofits out there that we have went to work with. I probably won't say no names on this recording, but black nonprofits, big time civil rights back in the day nonprofits who wouldn't work with us because they felt like we were competitors. Then you had the other white big nonprofits who were like, look, Raquel, I love what you do, but I can't mess with you because you're going to mess up my money. I don't even know how many times these big, huge nonprofits that get paid, like they are on the rolls, the payroll of HUD and Health and Human Services and all of these other big major or federal institutions. They like, listen, I think what you're doing is wonderful, but you're gonna mess up my money. I probably heard that if I had $100, no, let me take that back. I need more than 100. If I had $10,000. Nope, I'm gonna take that back. If I had $100,000, but every time someone said those words to me, I would be a millionaire. That would be fair to say. If I had 100 grand for every time someone told me they love what we do, but if they associated with us, it would mess up their money. Boo, I would be a millionaire right now. That's why I can come up here and confidently say to you that this whole going broke in this business model of trying to help people that most times don't even want to help themselves, I'm not going back to the welfare system. So we will absolutely be pivoting. Okay. And I can promise you in this pivot, it's going to be a different game because I'm wiser, I'm smarter, I learned a lot. And the hell with all of that. I don't want to ask you for no money. You can keep your money. Keep your money, keep your tax exemption, because tax exemption organizations was really a way that wealthy people could hide their money so they didn't have to pay taxes. So if you are African American and you are really trying to do some real hard body work, do not create a nonprofit because you will make no money. Okay. One, and if you don't have the networks and the relationships tied into the big philanthropic efforts, you know what I'm saying? Like even when I was looking or hearing something where even like the movie stars, the entertainers, they are even told what they can support through their dollars. I talked to NFL when we had that welfare tour and we were traveling and we were going out, we were in California. I talked to NFL players and I asked them why y'all don't come and help organizations like mine. It's mad organizations out here struggling. They said, well, to be honest, like they got a card and they were already told what organizations they can donate to. So I'm like, are you kidding me? So they like to keep this shit going on. And I can promise you, God ain't pleased. And I can promise you that in this season, if it ain't God's business, it's not going to thrive. So the mission don't stop. The message don't stop. But the business model will stop. This nonprofit, nope, nope, I'm good with it. Y'all could keep all the rich white people, all the rich people, keep your money, keep your tax exemption. The Bible says, give unto Caesar what is Caesar's, give unto God what's God. Caesar want that tax, just pay him. Pay him the tax. So I'm about to come out of this nonprofit and I'm going to go give Caesar all his money because that's what he asked for. Because my God is so big that he got enough for Caesar. We ain't got to rip Caesar off. We ain't got to rob him. God is so big. He got Caesar. He got you. He got me. He got everybody. And that's just how we're going to have to do it. And I only say that just so that you guys, please don't get it twisted. Yes, broke. No money. No money. I had to borrow money today. Which is cool because the truth of the matter is, do you know how many people have I not even borrow, just give. I'm a giver. So I expect it to come back when I need it. But on one hand, I'm not even like I can't even be mad. I can't even be pissed off because I've been doing this for 21 years and it's a love of my life. But I could promise you, this come up, y'all gonna wish that I stayed in that nonprofit. Y'all gonna wish the devil gonna wish I stayed in that broke ass nonprofit because this come up is going to be something just nasty, something fierce, something ridiculous. So now let's talk about how somebody say, how do you have $600,000-700,000 of grants and then the next year you broke? How that happened? How? Well, let's talk about in many cases where I would say when the ARPA funds came, that's how we really got kind of switched up. So ARPA funds came, and then, a lot of cities had these projects. They had to be shovel ready in order to get the funding. And so we received the contract from Employed Prince George County, and they were like, listen, you can, you have your incubator, here, what's your rate? Charge your rate. You can have unlimited people in your program. So this was finally the time that we would have had unlimited people in our program at the real rate, not the reduced rate that DC had us, charging, but it was a real live rate where we could actually make some real good, real headway for the organization. However, you got to be able to perform the scope of work. So when you have these contracts, you can't just be out there, don't write a check that your ass can't cash. And we wrote that check. And I had to come from California all the way back to Maryland just so that I can make sure we cash the check. Now, my mistake number one was hiring people based off of fancy names. So you have people who said, oh, my son is this, my daughter's that, just because they congressional this, congressional that, they got sons and daughters. So I thought, no harm, no foul. I'm going to give everybody a chance. You hire these people, kids, and they do nothing. They do nothing, but they want mad money. I mean, $8,000 a month in some of these salaries for nothing, for nothing. And I'm like, who you think about to pay you $8,000 and you do nothing? Boo, where they do that at? That's not this kind of show. And so that was always a rough thing for me and contractors who want to get paid, but they wasn't performing. the scope of work. And I was holding that feet to the fire. So when you done wasted 40, 50,000 in payroll because you catch it too late, you done paid it already, or now it's payday and it's time for you to pay it. And you just now catching all of the F ups. You can't, you know what I'm saying? If you ain't got it clearly written down, what the expectation, the deliverable, meaning you get this money when this thing is happening. If you ain't got that thing specifically written like that, got me, got me. And so after shoveling out tens of thousands of dollars in payrolls for people who did not perform, then it was like, wow, now I have to come back from California all for this tour. The tour was a whole nother shenanigan. We'll talk about that on a whole nother, because that probably was the beginning of it going down. That was the beginning of having this real expensive tour bus, taking SBA funding, trying to do something big and impactful and go and travel the United States to get people riled up about moving moms up the welfare system, visiting all the housing authorities in the United States, trade shows, paying money to vend at these trade shows, getting in front of housing authority leaders. I remember one day I vended at this one trade show, might have been in California, and I don't know how much we paid, thousands, but my thousands didn't even give me a chair to sit down. And I said, and they wanted me to pay extra like $250 for a chair to sit down. I said, ma'am, no, I'm not gonna pay for $250 for a chair to sit down. You better go find a chair, because there's thousands and thousands, or $2,000. I already paid like $2,000 just to be there. And then promoted something with the little gifts and stuff. Got me all the way twisted. So it's sham shenanigans. But when these people who got big money, they could just play just to play. Like they say, if you ain't got the money to play, like, go home. And obviously I ain't had the money to play. I was playing, I don't know what we was playing. But either way, it's those kind of shenanigans. And bring back to the fact that the whole Prince George County, finally we there. I come back and I handle everything and I tighten everything up. I'm recruiting. I'm going to the shelters. I'm going to the barbershops. I'm going everywhere where I think people who want to start a business, low income, will be able to have this, value add. I am empowering them. They're like, yes, where you been? I can't wait. I want to do this. I want to do that. And I am the story of like impossibility. So when they looking at me, they like, yeah, let's do this. And then get like what, 100, 200 people in our platform. And guess what? Not one of them got approved. So we were like, yo, we got all these people. They got the application. We're bringing them through the pipeline. Why are y'all stalling and not approving these people? Then they tell me that they ran out of money. Outside of the up and down, no staff quit, staff left, retired, resigned, moved on, and we kept falling in these cracks. I could not cash one check from this place until the fact that they say, you know what, fine, we don't have no more money. So they was like, go back on to the other side of the tracks, the regular list, because they really did relax what they call the eligible training providers list. For anybody who may know what that is, that's how you get to these workforce innovation grant funds or contract funds. And they had this limited training providers, which means it's a nice hike, but it's something you can, you can keep up with. The ETPL, eligible training providers, you might as well have rode a marathon, because that hike, that administrative hike, is a hike for real. They want you to have like a $3,000 application fee. They want you to have 6 months operating money's just sitting in a bank, not being touched. I'm like, well, what bank account? Who got money that could just be six months not touched? We ain't got that. Nope, we playing above our weight class. That's what was happening. But how else? I had to try. How else was I going to get in front of the people to be able to lose them? And so I just remember, outside of me, I promise you, I've gone through everything you could possibly imagine in the name of freeing people. And it didn't work out. And then I even had a dude, I ain't even gonna put his name out there, big time in DC, big nonprofit, millions. Used to be part of the city council, mayor's office, all of them. I caught myself saying, trying to like, I don't know if I was like strong arming him and like, come on now, you know what this is. And like, look out. Look out for me. That's what I was kind of saying. He damn near cursed me out. He didn't curse me out, but he said it in a very professional way. He was like, Raquel, let's be clear. When you chose this path of righteousness, when you chose this path of justice, you knew right well you was going to be by yourself. He said, so don't come crying to me about how you broke. He said, you chose that path and you knew it was going to be lonely. You knew it was going to be hard. And I could not say nothing. I was like, I really didn't know that. I actually just was saying, yes, Lord. But I didn't know all of that. But I kind of figured God didn't come to be friends with the world. So I'm probably not going to be friends with the world like that. But I was pissed that he even said that shit, because it's like, do you know what's going on? And you just going to pimp out the people too? Okay. Well, guess what? I'm going to shut it down. We're going to shut Can I Live down. Now, the beautiful thing is, guess what? Just because you shut the nonprofit down, it don't mean the message shuts down. It doesn't mean that the activity shut down. You just got to find another way. There's 1,000 ways to skin a cat, boo. And we about to skin cats in a whole nother different way, because I'm not going back to the welfare center. Nope. So I say all of that to say, pivot. And if you're trying to run a nonprofit, don't do it, Miss Sealy. Don't do it. I got more stories. I got a whole bunch of other stuff that we could talk about. But if you don't learn nothing, I'm going to give you all the mistakes so you don't have to make them. And then we're going to pivot, because you're going to see how I was able to come out of this thing and turn. But you got to see it in real time, because I could talk about it once I get there. Ain't no fun in that. Then it's just like a story and a memory. I'm bringing you live and direct in the moment of it, so that you can go back to these times and like, she spoke it as though she knew it. And this is how confident you have to be in knowing what God said and what he promised and what he said. He's faithful. He will do it. And while it might not look like it, while it might not sound like it, see like it might not feel like it, it is going to happen. So help me God. As God is my witness, this thing will happen. It's just going to happen in another way. So I look forward to seeing you guys on the next video. Hopefully something will shift, because, it's only space and time.